Well, the easiest stat that I can give you, and this has been true for, maybe close to a decade now, is that the ROI for email is the highest of any digital marketing strategy you can do, period. So for every
Okay,
dollar
so it's
you
the
invest,
ROI. Go back.
yeah, yeah. So for every dollar you invest in email, it generally relates to about $41 in revenue. So it's like 1,000% more effective than Facebook.
Welcome to the Other 99% podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Duck, a coffee loving direct sales enthusiast who's obsessed with a good digital system. Come join me for a realistic look into the world of direct sales. We'll explore inspiring perspectives, learn about unique business tips, and celebrate success stories that often go untold. Because on the other 99%, every seller matters.
Hey everybody, it is me, Lisa, and welcome back to another episode of The Other 99%. I'm here today with our co-host, Susan Larimer, and our awesome Core 4 member, our Miss Sammy Bedell-Mulhern. And Sammy is here to talk to you a little bit today about email marketing. I know some of you might be rolling your eyes when we say that, but this is such an important tool to use in your business. So Sammy, can you jump in, tell the listeners who you are, what you do, and a little bit about, why you got into the world of email marketing?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I started my own business in 2017, and so I do digital marketing strategies mostly for nonprofits. I have done direct sales in the past, which spawned Easy Style with Sammy, which is now kind of a lifestyle blog and podcast that I love doing. Email has just kind of been the vehicle that has always been consistent for me, something that has always generated sales and revenue, something that has just been a great way for me to communicate, something that's really, I'm going to say easy to do. Again, maybe there's more eye rolls happening, but I just love it as a digital marketing strategy. So it's one of the foundational things that I work with my clients on. And so I love to just share kind of what's working for us with everyone else.
Just to give people some background information, we say the core four. There's four of us that do a lot of collaborative events together. We work really well together. Sammy is always the one. You taught me the word copy because we're always like, oh, Sammy will do the copy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
copy
The
is a
words.
noun. Like, why
Yeah.
are we using it as a verb? I could not understand that. Sammy is the one who gives us like the email verbiage. She's so good at coming up with emails that are engaging subjects. She keeps us on track as far as what we're going to say, even in social media posts. So we all have our role, and I love that. So, Sammy, in one of our recent episodes, we had a guest who focuses very much on Facebook, very heavy on Facebook. She believes that is the place to be. So give us your argument for why email is not dead, why it is still something that everybody in their business should be using.
Well, the easiest stat that I can give you, and this has been true for, maybe close to a decade now, is that the ROI for email is the highest of any digital marketing strategy you can do, period. So for every
Okay,
dollar
so
you
it's
invest,
ROI. Go back.
yeah, yeah. So for every dollar you invest in email, it generally relates to about $41 in revenue. So it's like 1,000% more effective than Facebook. So it's not to say that social media doesn't have its place in your strategy, but if you're not doing it, you're leaving money on the table.
Okay.
Yeah. And now let's dig into a little bit about why, because our market or our audience is direct sellers, right? And a lot of them are used to the company just sending out emails and doing all that stuff. So why is it important for the average direct seller to take ownership of their own list and start email marketing on their own and not just relying on companies to send it out?
Yeah, so the thing that I like to think about is if a new product line is coming out or a new catalog and you're super excited about it and you're going to call your best customer, your favorite customer, and you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this product. It's going to do this. I know you're going to love it. It's amazing, blah 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 blah, whatever that might be," right? You're going to have that kind of a conversation with somebody one-on-one because you know them as a person, you kind of know your customer base, you know what they're excited about, and it's just going to be a lot more personal, right? Your email from your company is going to be very factual and here's the details about the product, here's how you use it, but you're going to connect it emotionally to how they will relate to the product. And so email is a great way to just do that in mass. You can share your personality, you can write it as if you're writing it to your best customer, you can share your own experiences, you can share feedback from other customers that have tried it. So it just creates that personal connection that your company emails are not.
How often do you think our emails should go out? Should they be weekly or monthly?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of weekly because the more often you send emails that are value add, because I think we're going to talk about this a little bit later, the difference between kind of a sales and a newsletter type email, but the more regularly you send emails that are value add and connecting with your audience, you build that consistency. You're going to, get more of those open rates so that when you are in like a heavy promo period or a sales period, people aren't just like, ugh, they only reach out to me when they want me to buy something, right? So I would say if you're just getting started, maybe every 2 weeks, once a month if you feel really strapped. But I think once you start getting in the rhythm, you're going to find, I don't know, I mean, did you both find like once you kind of started getting the rhythm, it really wasn't the I don't know what to write or to talk about kind of goes away because you find you have plenty of things to talk about once you just kind of
Yeah.
get started.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, we know our customers, right? We know our products. And I think we're going to jump into the, newsletter versus just a regular email right now, because I think this is very important because I know coming from Epicure, a lot of the focus on email marketing, people were told they had to do their own email marketing, but they
Mm-hmm.
were reliant, many people were reliant on the company downloading their newsletter into a email marketing service, and then they would just add their links and send it out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not what we mean by email marketing, right? There's a huge difference between sending out a salesy newsletter and sending out a email to engage with your customers. So can you dive into that a bit?
Yeah, and I think you have to kind of test your business and what you're doing. And I know if you're, it can be really tricky if you're supporting multiple companies, sometimes it feels like you're always having to push out sales and product. So I think it's all about consistency. We train our customers for how we're going to treat them. And that's not just with email, that's with everything. That's with our follow up, our customer care, everything. So we need to train our customers for what to expect and what information they're going to get from us, and also who we are compared to everybody else that's selling our same product. Like that personal connection is so important, and that comes through with email. So I love the quote unquote general newsletter to really be like an email that I'm sending to a friend. So you can do this in a variety of ways. My newsletters are a little bit longer than most people's, so just test it. But I always start with like a general, just something that's going on in my life or something that I've experienced or like a way that I've used the product that has surprised me, or it's just a personal connection. Value add, it's not salesy, it's just literally, hey, here's a tip. Here's something that's going on in my life. You might be able, to start that conversation. And then below that, I'm typically sharing like a blog post or a podcast episode. And then below that, I'm sharing like, hey, what's new with my company, right? I used to be with Color Street. So what's new with Color Street? So the thing is that it's consistent every single time. So even if it's longer, there's that consistency where people can come to my newsletter. They know they're going to get value. They can go to the section of the email that they want. It took me years to kind of get to that version just because I found I had so much to say, and I send my emails out every single week. So there, I'm not sending additional product launch. So if a product launch comes out on a Thursday, my email goes out on Tuesday. I don't push it until I push it on the next Tuesday's newsletter, unless it's like something big and major that warrants a separate launch. But even if you just get started with a simple like, okay, let's use lemongrass and skincare, right? If it's like a seasonal thing, even if it's just like, hey, summer's here. Here's what I'm doing to update my skincare routine just in case this is helpful for you, blah, 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 blah. Here's my favorite product. So it's still leading with value. It could be super short. It's still leading with value. You still have the opportunity to put sales in it, but that's not at the top, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I love that our company has a newsletter every month and every special. So on our
Mm-hmm.
behalf, now monthly, sometimes two, sometimes three times a month emails to my customers. So I rely on my company to do the salesy things so that I can do the personal things. And I will tell you, I do a mix of like products. Sometimes I do sales, but a mix of products, just life tips, things that are working for me, things I'm going through. but the most open rate, the highest open rate are the ones that are just like 10 fun facts about Susan Larimer or
Yeah.
get to know Susan. Everybody opens those emails, where if I didn't use email marketing, I'm missing an opportunity for people to really get to know me.
Well, and I
So,
want to
love
throw
that.
this out there really quick too, is that people need something like 10 to 17 touch points before they make a buying decision. So that's what is beautiful about email marketing, is you can reach your entire list very quickly. That's one of those touch points. Facebook is a touch point, your DM, the multiple emails, your company email going out with the product. So I don't think it's bad to list certain products in your emails, as long as it's not all emails are like buy now, buy now, buy now, right? Or like join my team, join my team, join my team. Like, you need to be more conversational in those. So I love the way that you approach it, but just know that you have to do so many touch points before people make a buying decision. So they get your company email that talks about the brand new product. They get your email that talks about how you're using that product and why it's cool. They get another email from your company. They see your Facebook post. They get your like, I know it sounds exhausting, but that's why we want to have those emails in conjunction with our company
It's like
newsletters.
dating someone. You
Yeah,
don't jump in and
exactly.
say, "Will you marry me?" You need to date them for a little bit.
Exactly.
Get to know them. Same thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So we all want our emails to be opened, right? I
Yes.
mean, that's the point of it. And there's so many things. I know Gmail just introduced a new folder and they like to sort emails all over the place. So are there any tips that you can give the person doing the email to effectively get their emails into their customers' inboxes, or are there anything like that that will help you keep them out of spam? I mean, any subject lines that you think work better? Like any
Yeah.
tips that you can give?
I mean, there's a lot on the technical back end side. So, like, we don't need to get into this, but verifying your domain is super important for email deliverability. So, just Google SPF DKIM and DMARC, DMARC. And I can maybe send you a resource that you can include for that. But that's a technical thing to verify your domain, which can help with spam. If you're sending through an email service provider, ConvertKit or MailerLite or whatever, or you're using like Oh My High's email, whatever it might be, they will typically have a place for you to go to set that up as well. So that's super important on a technical side. With regards to user behavior, the subject line is how you get people to open the email, and the from sender. So again, in your service provider, you can typically say what the email address is that it's coming from, but also like title the name. So you don't want it to be necessarily like, mine wouldn't say Easy Style with Sammy. Mine has my name. So usually like your name is going to be a better connection that people will open it because they think it's an email from, well, it is an email from you, but like it could be a individual email from you. So that helps. And then subject lines, we don't want to be clickbaity. We want to make sure that what's in the subject line is connected to the email, but that's why I love just sharing a personal story, because then my emails aren't product based subject lines. They'll be things like, you wouldn't believe the embarrassing thing that I just found in my makeup drawer, or I like something that's like, kind of connect, and it is the content that's in the email. So one of my favorite tips is, I'm a huge fan of writing my emails myself because they are personal stories for me. But then I take those emails and I'll put them into like ChatGPT and say, okay, here's my email that I wrote. Can you give me 3 to 5 subject lines that would be a good fit? Because then it can help you. I don't always use them verbatim, but then at least I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great one. I'm going to kind of tweak this one and put it in there. So that's a good one. As you keep moving, just A/B test those subject lines so that you can kind of start to see questions work better. Sometimes an emoji works great. Is it better if I put their first name in the subject line? Like, you can kind of get more sophisticated as you get going, but that subject line is key. And then consistency. They know what they're going to get. They know they're going to get value. So I know I'm going to open your email because I know it shows up regularly. I know there's good stuff in here. So the subject line first, and then that consistency and value will keep that opening.
And then that
And I just
AB.
want to,
Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say, I just want to jump in because you just mentioned about like ConvertKit and MailerLite and stuff like that. I want you just to share a little bit about like, because there are some people are probably trying to email their customers from their Gmail account.
No.
So can we just share a little bit about why that's a no-go?
Good point.
Yeah. So number one, if you're just like throwing everybody into a CC or BCC and sending that email out, I mean, I know that Gmail has updated and changed things, and they are like they have templates and things now that you can put into your email, but that's like the fastest way to get to spam. And you can't personalize things as much. If you're running a legit business, and this is something that you're doing as like a growth strategy, you're going to you're in this for the long game, right? Like if you're listening to this podcast, this isn't just a side hobby, you're in it for the long game. If you have a website or even if you have a domain, it is not expensive to have an email address that ends with your business name. And you're going to have that if you use an email service provider anyway. Like if you're using Kit, you can't have an @gmail.com account, right? And so just you're running a business, it's like $6 a month. I don't know, they just raised their prices. It might be $8 a month for an email address. But you're just going to look so much more professional. You're going to get much better deliverability. And I don't, even from my business account, even though it's through Google Workspace, like I don't send mass emails from my Gmail at all. Like even if I'm doing a cold outreach, like I don't do it through that. I use a different platform for that. Plus, you don't get any analytics on emails if you're sending them in bulk like that.
That's what I was just going to say. You need the analytics to know what's working, who's opening it, all of that. So go back to the A/B testing. And I haven't played with this yet. Does it send half your, like, how does that work?
No, well, it depends on the platform. They all do it a little bit differently. And these are not, you do not want to A/B test anything that is a time sensitive email. Because basically what it does is it takes like a certain percentage of your list, like 5% or something, and it will send half, like to 5% of your list, it'll split it 50-50. And then it waits to see what the winner is after like sometimes it's like 10 hours. So it's not any, like if you are on like a quick turnaround, you do not want to do it. And then it'll send to the remainder of the list which subject line had the better open rates.
Well, okay. I like that. I never knew. I'm like, I want it to go to half the people and half the people get this. And then I didn't know how that
Yeah.
worked. So that's super, super
Yep.
helpful.
Okay,
Okay.
now
What about, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I've been told that we don't usually talk over each other, so this is kind of funny. But
We're so excited, Sammy.
I've been told that there's like the links and images that you put in your emails
Mm-hmm.
can sort of hurt you instead of like help you in terms of, getting where you want the email to go. Plus, it's like you were saying, you don't want it to say buy now, buy now, buy now. So is
Mm-hmm.
there a happy medium? Like, what do you recommend in terms of images, links? Is there a minimum, a maximum?
I'm going to give you my favorite marketing answer, and that is you have to test, and it depends on your audience. I would say, as a general rule of thumb, yes, if you have like a ton of text links, it can potentially flag you as spam, but it's more about your history and your users, how they're using your emails. So the thing with links is make sure that you're hyperlinking the words. Like don't just say here or don't just put a link in. Like you want to hyperlink the word. So if it's like take my beauty skincare quiz, like you would hyperlink the whole thing, because for ADA compliance, it's easier for e-readers to like let the people know where they're going as opposed to them just seeing like HTTPS, whatever. Also, just from an action standpoint, do as I say, not as I do, because this is not how my newsletters are currently operating. The less links you have, the more likely you're going to get them to take the action that you want them to take. So having one or two specific actions is going to be better than giving them 18 different things, because then we have decision fatigue. We've seen too many things. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. With regards to images are fine, but they need to have a purpose. They need to have a reason. So if there's no reason, if it's just because you want your email to look pretty, don't use it. If it's because you know that, like, if I'm trying to sell a new Epicure product, I know that it's going to sell a lot faster if people can see the beautiful dinner completed, right?
Mhm.
So that makes sense. But don't just include images of all of the products that you're featuring just because you want a visual. So as long as it has purpose, it's okay. And then again, making sure you have alt text in your email so that if the images don't load, whether it's security of the company's platform or that person's settings, that they can at least still see what was supposed to be there.
Yeah, that's good advice on the links. And sometimes, if it's me, if there's too many links, I might click one link and then I go on a rabbit hole on this one link and I never come back to the other ones.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too to play with, if we're talking about links, is even if, let's just say you have, it's the fall catalog. I shouldn't have said fall. It's July, but for whatever reason, I'm moving time ahead. So it's a fall catalog and we know it's a big release. And so in your email, you might be talking about multiple different parts of the fall catalog, but your links are all going towards the same thing, right? So you might have a link that's hyperlinked in the words. You might also have a button that says something a little bit different that links to the same place. And you might use a different phrase later on in your email or in the PS that's hyperlinked. All of those things are going to the same place, but the words that are highlighted are different, because that's another great way to make sure you're hitting people when they care about that particular part of your messaging to click. So even if you're sending people to all the same place, doesn't mean you only need to hyperlink it once. You can hyperlink it in multiple different ways.
Yeah. And I also heard too, like, put a button at the beginning of the copy, put a button at the bottom, because some people, they open an email, they're like, give me the button, give me the link. I want to go there first. Some people like to read the story behind it and then get the information that way. So I like
That's
that multiple.
the beauty of the PS at the bottom of your email, the people that scroll to the bottom. Yeah.
I love that. All right, so let's dig into one of my favorite things on email marketing, and that's automation. Because when you're using an email marketing service or like service to send out emails, that's the whole point of it, right? You want to make work easier. So can you share a little bit about like automations and sort of what that, because think about it, when we're thinking about our audience, a lot of them probably are very new to email marketing. So what is sort of an automation and how does that benefit them in the
Yeah, I apologize because my earbuds have decided they don't like to be in my ears. So I'm probably being very distracting. They keep falling out. Automation sounds like a really scary thing, but service providers have made it so easy to set up. Like I know you guys have both been in multiple platforms. They're so easy now. So this is a great way to make sure that you're hitting your audience with the right thing at the right time. Because what we know is when somebody signs up and says yes, when somebody purchases, when somebody downloads a lead magnet, when somebody takes an action with us, that first email that we send them right away, that welcome email, can be somewhere upwards of like a 70 to 80% open rate, where like a normal healthy open rate is going to be somewhere between 16 and 25. So like that's a huge difference. So we want to capture people when they've said yes to whatever it is. And the best way to do that is to have it automated so you don't even have to think about it. So if somebody comes to your website at 2 a.m. because they're doom scrolling and they all of a sudden are like, oh, I really need to order this product, or I saw this resource, I'm going to download it. You don't have to worry about it going out. Like it's just going to do it for you in the back end. So typically what we like to see in those automations are like a 3 to 5 series welcome sequence. So the first one is delivering whatever it was, the action, the thing that they said yes to. The second one is telling them a little bit about who you are and kind of making that emotional connection. The third one might just be sharing some of your favorite products and tools and resources. The fourth one might be, here's what you can expect from me moving forward. Here's how I communicate. Here's the value that I add. Follow me on all the things, whatever. So they're not crazy. You don't have to be writing novels, but it just is allowing people to make that emotional connection with you and build that trust with you and kind of know or continue to stay on with you after they've kind of done that thing. Usually about 3 to 4 days apart when those emails go out. So that's just a very basic automation. You can get kind of crazy with it, but start with one funnel and then you'll start to find more and more and more that you want to build.
Those are those touch points too. Every time you send an email, that's another one of those touch points.
Yes.
So you mentioned a bunch of different platforms. So if someone is brand new, all they have is a Gmail or a Yahoo right now. Is there a platform that's kind of user-friendly and easiest to navigate through?
Well, I definitely recommend Google Workspace to get your business email. So that would be your @business name. You have to have a domain in order to do that. So the domain is your website. So easystylewithsammy.com is my domain. So now that's my email address. So that is first. You can send through a Gmail account with an email service provider for some of them, but again, they will tell you that your deliverability is likely to be lower. With regards to platform that I'm an affiliate for Kit, so I will always say Kit because it's what I've used since 2017 and I love it. It doesn't have it's getting better. It doesn't have the best as far as analytics, but I love it's easy to use. It gives me all of the things. So I just think it just depends, but I would take a look at the free plans. So most free plans, like for Kit, you can do a lot for free, but you can't do the automations. So if you're just getting started, think about what you actually need first. I like to build a spreadsheet that has like all of the things that I need at the top. Like I need to have automation, I have a list of this size, I need whatever. And then I fill in all the products. I spend like maybe an hour, do the research, put all the check boxes, and then kind of see, okay, yep, this is the one that I'm going to use, and then make a decision and then move on. They're all going to be okay. Yeah.
These
It's hard. There's so
people
many.
crack me up.
There are so many. Yeah.
Yeah.
What with the spreadsheets?
Yeah.
Susan's like spreadsheets. Oh no.
No, it's called a piece of paper and a pen. You make a
Yeah, I mean, the key is you're going to ask 5 people what platform they use and they'll tell you 5 different things. So at the end of the day, you just got to pick one.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to know that there are free entry points out there where you can get your feet wet into the email marketing space. But like Sammy said, in order to do any of them, regardless of if they're paid or they're free, you need to start by having a domain and like an email address linked to your domain because that's required now. I like there's some I don't know the technical side of things, but yeah, it's all required now.
And then are there any kind of tools? I know you use Chat GPT, but are there any tools specific to email that can help someone write better or what are there any tools?
Yeah, so in general, when we're writing copy, we like to write at like a 5th to 7th grade level. And every time I share this, people are like, okay, why? And you'll start to notice this now. I mean, like even the New York Times and like a lot of other publications do this. It's because we scan and skim. And so if I'm going to write a lot of jargon or use a lot of acronyms that people don't understand, or I'm just going to put a lot of big words in there because I think it makes me feel smarter and look better, you're losing people because they're skimming, they're trying to read everything as fast as possible. They need to be able to process the words that you're saying as fast as possible. So this goes for your blog posts, this goes for your emails, website copy, everything. It needs to be skimmable. So to your point, like the formatting of the email is almost more important than the language that's in it in some ways, because if they can't easily read through it and get to where they need to go, you've lost them. So as far as tools for that, absolutely ChatGPT, especially because the more that you use it, even if you're using the free version, it's going to understand your voice even better. And you can specifically ask it to rewrite the language at that grade level, right? Another app that I like that's free is the Hemingway app. It's similar to Grammarly, so you could also use Grammarly for things like this. But you just put in your copy and then it'll give you a whole list of things on the right side. It'll highlight sentences and say, like, you might want to rewrite this. This is confusing, all that kind of stuff. So I think those tools are great. Also because, like, when you write something, like, how many times have you done this? You write something and then you send it out and then you reread it and you're like, that's not what I meant. But, like, that's what was in your head. And so you thought you wrote what was in your head, but that's not what you actually put on paper. So it's also kind of just helpful to put it into those tools just to get third-party feedback.
Yeah.
And
Proofreading is always good.
that is the number one reason why I run every email that I write through ChatGPT and say, can you make sure this is clear? Because
Yeah.
I have a bad tendency to do exactly that. Think one thing and write another thing
Yep.
because that's what my head is reading is what I'm saying.
Exactly. You can't proof your own work.
No. All right. So I know that a lot of people might get to the end of this episode and they're like, oh my God, what do I do? Where do I start?
Yeah.
You know, and because it is a big step to jump into email marketing. So do you have maybe like a 1, 2, 3 step to simplify getting started in email marketing?
Yeah. Okay, so number one is commit to what you can commit to. So let's just say that you start and you say, I'm going to email my list twice a month. Commit to that. Put that time on your calendar. I'm going to literally 30 minutes. Okay. I'm going to block off 30 minutes every other week. And that's when I'm going to write my email newsletter and get it sent out. Like, that's it. This isn't a big, huge thing. Like, we're not creating Amazon style emails. Number two is figure out who your ideal favorite customer is the person that you want to write to all the time. And that's who you're going to write your emails to. So when you sit down to write, you're not trying to think like a master marketer. You're not trying to like be super creative and, whatever. Just literally sit down and write an email to that person you've identified about something of value that is in alignment with your brand and your business. So it could be like you went to the park with your kids today and like had this really funny interaction with another toddler and you just thought it was really interesting and it taught you a lesson in communication and now you're going to bring this to your team, whatever, right? Something that's like just personal and on brand. And like I said at the beginning, this will get easier as you kind of start to develop it, and you can use ChatGPT to give you ideas for how, like, what you can talk about. So you're going to do that. And then, shoot, I lost the third thing. Sometimes I talk too much and I get sidetracked. And then you're gonna, sorry, this should probably be number one. You have a list already because it's your customers. You already have a customer list. So you're gonna take all of your existing customers and you're gonna put them into your email service provider. You're gonna send them that first welcome email that says, hey, I just started a new newsletter. And you're gonna welcome them to your newsletter. Then you're gonna set the time. You're gonna email them every other week and you're gonna be consistent. That consistency piece is key. Don't just start a newsletter because we told you to, and then 2 weeks from you don't send another one, and then 6 months later you're like, oh yeah, okay, I should do this newsletter again, and then you don't do it. Commit to it. 30 minutes a week. You could do it in 30 minutes a week. Just a short, plain text, message, connection, value add, start a conversation.
I would say just watch how many people, like if I start an email marketing today, I might have like 10,000 people who have ever purchased from me. If I take all 10
right.
and put it into like MailerLite on the free plan, I'm going to be able to send out one email a month. So just watch. I mean, I went back I think 5 years and took those customers as they purchase from me regularly. They want to hear from me. So don't take everybody, be kind of strategic in how many people you plop into your email marketing.
That's a great point. Yep.
I think even Kit has something. I was helping someone set up Kit, and I think they even said that you can only bring in somebody who had purchased from you within the last 12 months. So
yeah,
each marketing or email marketing company might have their own guidelines that you need to adhere to. So be cautious of that. And when we think about it, it's like your last year worth of customers are going to be your good leads, right?
Well, I think this is really important too, in that you pay per person. So you don't want to pay for people that are not going to buy from you. And I think this is really important in that we don't get wrapped up in you'll hear people say, well, I have 10,000 or I have 20,000 people on my email list. And you're like, well, I have 50. Okay, who cares? 50 really good people that are actually purchasing from you is way better than having 10,000 people that you're paying now a heck of a lot more for your email marketing and they're not buying from you. So we need to get outside of this feeling of vanity metrics. So saying I just want to touch on the analytics piece is that we want to look at trends over time. Because privacy policies, company policies, all of these things change that control how our emails get opened and what that data looks like on our end. So, for example, if I have a lot of people on Microsoft in my email, Microsoft.com in my email list, right? It's going to go through their corporate filter first. It's going to show it open. It's going to show they clicked on absolutely everything because their system is making sure that this is a safe email to deliver to that inbox. So your numbers might look inflated. So we don't want to focus on a specific email's open rate, click rate. We want to look at trends over time. So am I consistently staying at roughly between around 30% open rate and a 1 to 2% click rate? Am I consistent there? If all of a sudden an email goes way up or way down, then I'm looking at that email to say, okay, what did I really do well here that people were really excited about? Or what did I miss? Was it I sent it too close to a holiday? The content was wrong. So don't get too wrapped up in your analytics. Pay attention to trends over time. And don't worry about the size of your email list. It's the health of your email list that matters.
Yeah, so I have a question. We can see who opened our emails. We use Oh My High in the analytics. We can see who opened it. Now I know you're saying that could be skewed, which I hate when you say that because I was like, oh, I have a really high open rate. I actually messaged Jeremy and I'm like, is this accurate? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, well, it looks really good. But anyway. He was very honest. But anyway, if you find that consistently there's a group of people who are not opening the email, would you send an email specifically to them like, hey, this is like your last chance in a nice way? Do you not want my contact or my information, or what would you do with those people? Or just let them
Yeah.
go?
So, like every 6 months or so, it's always good to just clean your list and dump the people that are cold and not responsive. And there's a whole strategy. You can Google this called the 9-word email, like the 9-word goodbye email or whatever. And it's literally like, it'll give you the subject line, but it's just a series, like 2 or 3 emails that just say, hey, we've missed you. Like, do you still want to hear from me? Kind of a thing. And then at the end, if they don't interact, then yeah, you scrub them and you clean them. And again, the email software provider that you use, they'll typically also have an automation for this. So sometimes you can even set those automations up automatically to automations automatically. You can set Wow. You can set up an automation to where it will regularly go through your list and trigger to pull people in. Okay, well, if they haven't done a certain action in 6 months, then it will put them through that funnel and then remove them. So you don't even, that can be something you don't even have to worry about. It can happen on its own in the background. And whatever email service provider you have, if you're listening to that and you're like, this feels very overwhelming, I guarantee you they all have a help document, or you could talk to their chat and say, do you have a document to help me with a cold subscriber or email list cleanup? They all will have them because it's such a common practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And since we're on the topic of, analytics and open rates and stuff like that, let's touch a little bit about the unsubscribed.
My
I
favorite.
know
It
I
hurts.
know on live support all the time when I'm doing all my high live support, like people get so upset when they get their unsubscribed, and I've learned to embrace it and just say
Mhm.
see ya. But what kind of information can you give to make them know that that's an okay thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, number one, I always look to see who it was, just because sometimes it makes sense and sometimes it doesn't. So if it's somebody, if it's a situation where it's a customer that you're like, wait a minute, and they're a really good customer, like I would reach out to them and just be like, hey, like, I noticed you unsubscribed, which is no big deal, but I'm always trying to do better with how I communicate and would love to know, like, what was it? Was it not valuable? Did you not, no harm, no foul, but I'm just trying to do some research so I can do better, depending on what your relationship. I don't do that 99% of the time. I do not do that because most of the time it's like, okay, whatever. But I don't want to pay for you if you're not going to buy from me. So yeah, like I agree with you. Like move on, see you later. That's great. Where we care about unsubscribes is if all of a sudden you see your rate go way up. Like if all of a sudden consistently you start to see a lot of people unsubscribing, and a lot is relative, right? I usually have maybe 1 or 2, but like also let's say you just did a big vendor event and you had a great event and you got 30 emails for your list and you sent them a welcome email post vendor event saying thank you, it was so great to meet you here, blah blah blah. Things like that you're going to have a higher unsubscribe rate for because they're colder, they're not somebody you have as much of a connection with. So in that case, that's okay. Like you would expect that. So just pay attention to your trends over time, but just let them go.
Yeah. Good advice.
They're not your people.
I know. And you hate getting it, but like 9 times out of 10, when I get an unsubscribe notice, I'll go in and look and I'm like, I don't even know who that person is. So it's like, okay, but if my mom or someone unsubscribes,
Right.
mom, what's the
Well,
deal?
like we all experience this, right? Like when we do our collaborations together and we share our contact list from that event, the first couple of general newsletters that go out post that event, you have higher unsubscribe rates. So it makes sense, right? Because these are not
Okay.
people that know me. They came in because they know somebody else in our group better. So that's
They
fine.
opted in to get something from us. They got it. They're done. They
Now
don't
they're
want it.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay.
You want to go into the last question then, maybe. What was one of the best emails that you opened recently? Like
That
something, it could
so
be a
that
subject line or it could be,
Yeah.
because
I
you look
mean,
at emails differently than most people. You receive emails from different companies and direct sellers, and you look at them differently than we do.
I think for me, it's more like I get cold outreach all the time. And so it's not like for things like, hey, we can help you fill your funnel, like, all these salesy things like check out our new software. So it's not for me like the content that's in those emails is not great, but I get mad when the subject line is so good that I open it knowing that it's a sales email and I'm like they got me. So that, but I think that's all ChatGPT. That's just really understanding who your audience is and what they care about. Like, what is the problem that you're here to help them solve? Like, how are you going to alleviate something and make their life easier? And I know we don't think about that as direct sellers, like I'm just selling makeup or food or whatever, but you all are solving a problem for somebody. So getting into that headspace, those subject lines, like that gets me. But I will say the emails that I get that I love are you don't have like really long paragraphs, they're shorter sentences, it's easy to skim, it's formatted with a lot more white space than you would think. Yeah, I don't know. Being very specific and intentional, I think is always helpful. When I get emails that are long and drawn out and you have to get all the way to the bottom to get to the point, that drives me bonkers. But it's those subject lines that get me that I'm like, I should have never opened this email. I don't care about what's here, but you got me.
Yeah, and you shouldn't use your subject line to trick people to open. Like you said earlier, your subject line should match your content.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah,
it's
I
just
hear
when
ya.
they're really good, they don't sound salesy. And I'm like, wait, do I know this person?
I could just see Sammy's face when she goes in and she's like, oh.
And then I hit delete. I'm like, how do I do that with my subject line? But I remember like a long time ago when I first started doing email and I was doing some trainings with some different copywriters. I think like one of the gals said like her biggest open rate ever was like a subject line that she said like the day that I went or dyed my hair red and went to Costco or something like that. Like that was her subject line. And she was talking about copywriting in the email, but like so you have fun with it, like make sure it matches, but yeah, that's critical.
And do you have this? Because I know we didn't really prep you for it, but
Boy,
I always ask for like a favorite quote or a piece of
quote, man,
advice.
I've been on your podcast already. I gave you my quotes. What did I
But
what did I say last time?
no, I can't remember. It's been so
It's been a
long.
long time. I don't know if I have a quote necessarily, but I would just say you're doing what you're doing for a reason. Don't be afraid to show up as that person in email. Like just because it's email doesn't mean that you need to like how you show up on social media, how you show up on your website, how you show up in your email, like that's who you are and that's what's going to attract people to you. And the people that aren't attracted to that aren't your people anyway. But that's not a bad thing. So just be you, write as you, and you'll make much better connections and make more money. But I'm sure somebody said that better that I could
You always
quote.
say good though, Sammy. I love conversations with Sammy. It's like you always walk away with like so much information.
I
It's
know.
like
I feel
I'm
like
writing
taking
it down.
notes.
Whatever. You
I'm
guys
so
are great with your emails. Don't even.
Sammy is my go-to when I have a question. It's like, Sammy, what do I do? And then she always gives me, that advice that you need, but not sometimes you don't always want to hear, but she gives it to you. I love that.
It's good.
And she hates when I say it, but it's so true. It's
I
like
know,
she
I feel
comes at it
bad.
from a very strong perspective, and I appreciate that about you. But all right, Sammy, I'm sure people are going to have a lot of takeaways. Before I do the close, where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place is easystylewithsammy.com. That's SAMI. I sometimes play on Instagram and Facebook, but you can always email me hello@easystylewithsammy.com or find me on LinkedIn.
Perfect. All right, everyone. I'm sure that you are taking notes, like we say. Sammy shared like a ton of great information. If you haven't thought about email marketing, I think it's something that you should really look into for the remainder of 2025 and going forward. It is not dead. Don't let people tell you email marketing is dead. So thank you so much for joining us, Sammy. And I hope to see everyone again next week on another episode of The Other 99%. Take care, everyone. Bye.
That's a wrap for today's episode of The Other 99%. We just want to say thank you. It truly means the world to us that you're here. Lisa and I absolutely love creating these episodes for you, and we're so grateful to have you in our community. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to like, share with a friend, leave a review, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We drop fresh content every Tuesday. Got thoughts, questions, or ideas? Leave us a comment. Want to be a guest on the show? We would love to chat with you. Apply by clicking the link in the show notes. Thanks again for spending time with us today, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Other 99%.